multiplying two polynomials. So this time, we will try to multiply two different polynomials. So now, we have our polynomials here, and we're asked to multiply it. We have x plus 1 and x plus 2. So still, what we will apply is the long multiplication procedure through distributive property. So here, we're given with a binomial, and our second polynomial is also a binomial. So how do we answer this time? So with this, copy the given first, and then from our first binomial, it has two terms. The first term in our first binomial, again, this is our first binomial, second binomial. So we have x and 1. That means that you just have to distribute each terms and multiply it to our second binomial. So first term is x, and we multiply that with x plus 2, our second binomial. Our second term in our first binomial is plus 1. So positive 1, multiply it with our second binomial, which is x plus 2. And then we apply distributive property. So that would be x times x and then x times 2. So let's try to simplify that first. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Okay, and after that, we have the plus 1 in here. So 1 times x and then 1 times 2. So 1 times x is just an x. Then 1 times 2 is a 2. Then we combine like terms. So as you can see, 2x and x are like terms because they have the same literal coefficient x. That means that you just have to copy x squared, but you need to add the coefficients of 2x and x, which is 2 plus 1, because there's an imaginary 1 in here, so that's a 3. Then x plus 2. So don't forget, you're not supposed to add the exponents, just like what we did when we multiply terms with the same basis. Because this time you're just adding. So in other words, you follow the rules in adding polynomials. That is to add the coefficients and then copy the common literal coefficient. Okay, so please do not mix up the rule. The rule that we discussed under laws of exponent and our previous module about adding polynomials. So this is now our answer because you don't see any like terms anymore. Okay, let's have another example. Number 2. We have here 3y squared minus 4y plus 5 times the quantity of 2y minus 3. So we have our two polynomials here. Here is our first trinomial. Here is our trinomial, I mean. And then the other one, 2y minus 3 is our binomial. So still we will be using the long multiplication procedure through distributive property. But as I said in my previous lesson, that it would be better if we multiply the polynomial with least number of terms to the other one. And binomial has less number of terms. So as our solution, so you can say 2y minus 3, the quantity of 2y minus 3 times the quantity of 3y squared minus 4y plus 5. So you can write it as, first, the first term here in our binomial is 2y. You need to multiply it in our trinomial. 2y times the quantity of 3y squared minus 4y plus 5. And then we have here our or second term is a negative 3 or a minus 3. So we copy that, minus 3, times our trinomial, 3y squared minus 4y plus 5. So, 2y must be distributed to 3y squared, and we get 6y cubed. Because 2 times 3 is 6, and then y times y squared is y cubed, because we add exponents. Again, we are multiplying. That's why we are adding the exponents this time. Then next, 2y times negative 4y. So that means start with the coefficients. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Then y times y is y squared. Then, finally, 2y times 5. That would be 2 times 5. So 10. Then, there's no y in here, so just copy the y. Okay, next, you have to distribute the negative 3. So, though this is a minus 3, but you can always consider it as plus negative 3. So, just think of it as a negative already, as a sign of the 3. So, negative 3 must be distributed to all of the terms in here, starting with 3y squared. So, negative 3 times 3y squared is negative 9. Because negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Then, copy y squared. Then afterwards, we distribute the negative 3 this time to the negative 4y. So negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Then there's a y here, so y. 12y. Then, finally, we distribute the negative 3 to the 5, the last term. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Then this time, we combine our like terms. So starting with, can check whether there is another term here with y cubed. And you don't see one. So just copy 6y cubed. Now, next, negative 8y squared with the literal coefficient y squared. So you see that this is also y squared. That means you can combine them by adding the coefficients. So negative 8 plus negative 9, same sign, add and keep. So don't forget about that rule that we've discussed at the very first quarter. Negative 8 plus negative 9, that would be negative 17. Then copy the common literal coefficient y squared. Then, the next coefficient that we need to consider now is the y. So you can check whether there is also a y. Wait, because I think the color is not that clear, so we'll use orange instead. So this one, the y. But we also see a term here with a y. So that means these are like terms. So we add the exponents. I mean, add the coefficients. 10 plus 12. 10 plus 12 is 22. Then don't forget to copy the common literal coefficient y. Then finally, minus 15. So this is our final answer. Now, let's proceed to number 3. But we're asked to find the product by using the vertical format. We have 3x plus 5 as our first polynomial. Our second polynomial is 4x plus 1. And both of them are binomial. So how do we solve this by vertical format? So just think of your multiplication when you still deal with numbers alone. So you have 3x plus 5 first, and then you have 4x plus 1. Then think of it as if you're multiplying them one term at a time. So you'll start here, 1 times 5. So you will get, so what do we get for that? That would be 5. Then afterwards, we multiply the 1 to our 3x. 1 times 3x is 3x. So don't forget, this is a positive 5, so plus 5. Okay. After you distribute the 1, you proceed right away to the next part. The next term, which is 4x. So 4x times 5. So 4x times 5 is 4x times 5 is 20x. So don't forget that this time you will have to align the like terms. So that's 20x and its like term is 3x, not the 5. So you put it below 3x. Then, finally, 4x times 3x. 4 times 3 is 12. But x times x is x squared. And then, what you need to do next is just to add. So, 12x squared. 20 plus 3 is 23x. Then here, bring down plus 5. So this is our final answer. Okay, let's try to answer this using the vertical format again. So we have y squared, the quantity of y squared minus 4y minus 6 as our trinomial multiplied by another polynomial which is a binomial because that's quantity 2y minus 7 separated by a minus, so that's a binomial. So since we're asked to use the vertical format, so all we need to do is to put the trinomial first because you have more number of terms. So it has to be on top. And then finally, our binomial should be below. So 2y minus 7. So don't forget, you're just distributing each terms of our binomial to our trinomial. So starting with negative 7 times negative 6. So negative 6 times negative 7 is a positive 42. So that's positive 42. And then next is negative 7 times negative 4y. So negative 4 times negative 7 is 28. That's a positive. Then don't forget there's still a y. So y. And then finally, the last one, negative 7 times the y squared. The coefficient here is just a 1. So in other words, 1 times negative 7 is still negative 7. Then the y squared. So after you deal with your first term in our, the negative 7 to be distributed to all the terms in the trinomial, you proceed to 2y. So 2y now must be multiplied to each terms. So starting with 2y times negative 6. So 2y times negative 6 is negative 12. Then don't forget there's still a y. Don't forget to align the like terms immediately. Then next, multiply 2y to 4 to negative 4y. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Then y times y is y squared. And they are like terms, so you align them. Because they have the same literal coefficient y squared. And finally, you have our last step, 2y times y squared. So 2y times y squared is just a 2. Then y times y squared is y cubed. Because you need to add exponents. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then finally, we add. So 2y cubed. Negative 7 plus negative 8 is negative 15. Because they have the same sign. Same side, add and keep the common sign. Then y squared. 28 plus negative 12. In other words, 28 minus 12. So that's a positive 16y. Then plus 42. And this is our final answer. Okay, let's have number 5. So this time, we're still asked to use the vertical format to figure out the product of our trinomial 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 times the quantity of our 3x squared minus x plus 4, which is also a trinomial. So, we do the same thing. We copy first. So, 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Then 3x squared minus x plus 4. So, we'll do it slowly, starting with 4. So, 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Then, 4 times 5x. So 4 times 5 is 20. And then you input x. So 20x. That's positive. Then 4 times 2x squared. 4 times 2 is 8. Then x squared. Afterwards, you're done with the first term. The term with the 4 here. So perhaps you put a marking that you're done with it. Then afterwards, you proceed to the next term. So negative x multiplied to negative 3. So negative x times negative 3, that's negative times negative positive. Then x times 3, 3x. Then we have negative x times 5x. So negative 1 times 5, negative 5. Then x times x is x squared. So don't forget that you should align the like terms immediately so that you will save time. And then negative x times 2x squared, negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Then x times x squared, you add exponents, so x cubed. So we're done with our x here, negative x in the middle portion. So perhaps you can do a marking that you're done with it. And then finally, we have our last term, 3x squared. So we multiply we multiply 3x squared to negative 3 first. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So that's a negative 9 x squared. So you have to align it here because they have the same literal coefficient x squared. And then 3x squared times 5x. 3 times 5 is 15. That's positive. Then you have x squared times x. X squared times x meaning you add the exponents. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So x cubed. And these are like terms. Then finally, we have to multiply 3x squared to 2x squared. So this time, 3 times 2 is a 6. And then x squared times x squared is x to the power of 4. So you add exponents, you'll get a 4. Then now you add the like terms. So you start here. This is 6x to the power of 4. Negative 2 plus 15 is positive 13. Here, 8 plus negative 5 is a 3. 3 plus negative 9 is negative 6. Then copy the common literal coefficient x squared. Then 20 plus 3 is 23x. Then minus 12. So this is our final answer. It's already in descending order. Degree of 4, degree of 3, degree of 2, degree of 1, degree of 0. Let's have example 6. Find the area of a rectangle whose length is the quantity of 3x squared plus 4 centimeters and its width is 5x minus 2 centimeters. So take note that we're dealing with area of a rectangle here, and the formula for area of a rectangle again, putting a miniature symbol for rectangle here means area of a rectangle. So area of the rectangle is length times width. So in other words, to find the area, all you need to do is to substitute. Given that if L is equal to 3x squared plus 4 and the width is 5x minus 2. So what we're doing right now is the skill of evaluating, given the expression is L times W. So the L will be replaced with 3x squared plus 4. So don't forget, when you substitute, you will enclose it in a parenthesis. Then next, for W, we substitute 5x minus 2 to it. Don't forget to enclose it in a parenthesis. Then, it's up to you whether you use vertical or horizontal method when you find the product of the two binomials in here. So in my end, I will be using the horizontal way. So in other words, I'm multiplying each terms here to our second binomial. So first term is 3x squared multiplied to 5x minus 2. Then second term, positive 4 multiplied to the second binomial, 5x minus 2. And then we slowly distribute 3x squared to 5x and 3x squared to negative 2. So you will get 3x squared times 5x. Okay, that would be 15x cubed. Because 3 times 5 is 15, x squared times x is x cubed. Then 3x squared times negative 2. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 6x squared. Then the other one, 4 times 5x and then 4 times negative 2. So 4 times 5x is positive 20x. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Now, we combine the like terms, if there's any. So as you can see, this is degree of 3, degree of 2, x cubed, x squared. degree of 1 just x, and then the degree of 0. So that means it's already in simplest form. So this is our final answer. And don't forget that this is a word problem. So you need to enclose the expression inside the parentheses, and then don't forget the unit.